Alrighty friends, welcome back to my channel, and today we're finally filming my mid-year book tag. I kept holding off on filming this until I got closer to the end of June because I wanted to be able to incorporate all the books I read this month into this video. It's now June 29th, so I'm hoping I did pretty good. I might read like one more book this month, but we'll see. If you guys don't know what this video is, pretty much is like the series of questions going around where you answer these questions based on the books you read this year and kind of like get your, almost like a overview of your reading so far. I chose 12 of them to answer today, and kind of just like an overarch of how my reading year has gone so far is, even though I had a 6-week-long reading slump, end of April to the entirety of May, I did read 87 books so far this year, which I think is really good, especially because my goal is 150. We're already well on our way, even with having that massive break and slump. Also guys, if this lighting is not it, I'm so sorry. It is like the rainiest, gloomiest, grossest day outside. And it's not helping what's going on here. So that's really funny is a lot of the books I want to talk about today I don't own physical copies of. I have this like whole list full of books I'm gonna be mentioning, and I have 6 of them beside me, and that's it. Just 6, but it is what it is. I also chose multiple for all of these because I couldn't really narrow it down. I have a hard time doing that, so most of these have 2 to 3 answers for each one. So for the best book I read this year, I chose 3. These are all 5-star reads for me. I did have more, but these were like my holy grails as of now. One of the ones I do have in my possession was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This book was so incredibly, not hard to get into, but hard to wrap your head around. For the first, I'd say literally 50%. And I was still enjoying what was happening, but I was kind of just like along for the ride. I didn't really know what was going on, to be 100% honest. But once you hit this point, it kind of all clicked. It just like flew right through to the end, and I loved this so much. But if you notice, Hellbent is still my TBR because I can't pick it up yet. I'm just like not ready. I need to like have so much brain power to do that, and I need to mentally get in that state. What I have a physical copy of but I can't find anywhere is The Women by Kristen Hanna. This one came out in February. It was Kristen Hanna's newest release, and it's about the Vietnam War, and more specifically women in the Vietnam War, like the nurses. And I just found it so eye-opening, and I always say when I read Kristen Hanna's books, I tend to learn something about a time period I didn't really know a lot about. I know it's probably different in the US or other countries, but especially in Canada, we didn't really learn a lot about the Vietnam War in school. It's like the basic history classes I took. I never took like in-depth history classes. Which I feel like I was learning so much about it while I was reading, and then also I was like drawn to do further research afterwards just myself because I was like really intrigued about all like what was going on. It was heart-wrenching. I wanted to throw the book across the room multiple times. It was jaw-dropping, and it was just everything I want from Kristen Hanna and more. And last one was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This book literally ripped my heart out and shredded it into pieces. I need to buy a physical copy of this book so I can have it and I can annotate it, but I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But quite literally, this book, it just made me feel so seen. And it was just, I love how Abby Jimenez writes romance books, but with characters who have so much depth to them, and who not only just like have their own things to work on, but actually communicate that effectively to one another. That's so rare nowadays to see in books, and I just love it so much. The best sequel I read was definitely Rule of Wolves. This was a 5-star read for me, and pretty much I always say this is my Spider-Man No Way Home. This is my Avengers. Literally, like, when this all came together, it was just one of the best endings I've ever read. It was the second book in a duology, and it kind of, the way this kind of closed out, it seemed like it could be the end of the Grishaverse, or there could still be more coming. And I'm really hoping she continues on because I love this world and I love these characters so much. But this was just everything I wanted and more. I think it was my first 5-star read of the year, actually. The other one, I'm not sure it really counts because it's not like a sequel. It's like the 4th book in the series, but it was Redeemed by Lauren Asher as well. This book just like fully cemented the Dirty Air series for me. Pretty much every book before that, like, the first book I think was a 4-star, second one was a 3, the third book was a 4.75. This one was an easy 5-star. This book just like blew the other ones out of the water. I absolutely fell in love with the characters in this and their storylines, and it was just so well done. And now it makes the Dirty Air series like high standing for me, even though it wouldn't have been without this book. Does that make sense? Third question is new releases that came out this year that I haven't yet read but really need to. It's gonna be Powerful, and this is a little novella that Lauren Roberts released to go in between Powerless and Reckless, and it's Adina's story, and I just kind of been putting it off because I know I'm just gonna sob, and I don't want to sob right now, so I'm kind of like putting that off, but I need to read it. Next one is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This one, fun fact, I will be reading soon, but the only thing is, since Emily Henry went to like hardbacks for her books, I've been refusing to buy them because I don't do hardcovers anywhere on my shelves unless it's my book of the month books. So pretty much what I did is I just put a hold out on Libby for it when it first came out, and I'm not even kidding, I think the wait at the time was like several months. I was like number like 152nd in line, but I'm now like number 10 in line, I think. It says I'm gonna get in like 4 weeks or something like that, so it will be read soon. It only came out a couple days ago, but I do have to buy it and have it come here. It's a novel love story by Ashley Costin. She's the writer of 7 Year Slip and The Dead Romantics. The Dead Romantics I thought was like pretty good. I really enjoyed the 7 Year Slip, and so I want to read this one. Apparently it's about an author or a reader, and so I'm all in. Next question is releases coming out in the second half of the year that you cannot wait to read. So first one is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This one actually comes out on my birthday, so I'm claiming it as my book. But that is the sequel to Wild Love, the next book in like the Rose Hill series. Then we have Reckless by Lauren Roberts. That's the follow-up to Powerless. I've been waiting for this. I think I'm more so excited to see like how her writings developed since writing the first book, because she wrote the first book when she was 18. So she's older, and I think she has like an editor through the process. I'm excited to see how it changes. And last, they don't have the name. I'm gonna just put the cover here when I find it. The new Krista Broadbent book, sign me up. It's the next book. I know like for the Crowns of Neaxia series, I don't know how you say it. So there's like, I think 3 duets in it, and so this is the first book of the next duet. I'm very excited for it. Surprise this year, I think I have to give to Magnolia Parks. I have to do it. Only because I was so convinced I was going to not like this book. I don't know what it was, but any discourse I heard around this book, I was like, I'm not gonna like it. I think it's because it was like about a toxic relationship. I was like, it's not gonna be my cup of tea, I'm not gonna enjoy it. And then sure enough, I did. Like, I didn't like absolutely love it and like was obsessed with it, but I gave it a 4-star. Found that even though it was so toxic, she did make you root and love for the characters. Not BJ, really for me currently. That might change in the next book. I'm reading the next Magnolia Park books on my TBR for July, if you can see it there. I just felt so much for Magnolia, and I think that's what really like cemented the story for me. So she has great character writing. I'm really excited to dive in. I have read Daisy Hates as well, and I do think I liked that one a little bit more than this one, because I feel like that one was storyline with toxicity, but there's more storyline to it. I'm excited to continue out the series and see what I think going forward. Next, like a new favorite author I found throughout this year, and to be honest, I've been pretty bad this year about just like going through like my favorite authors' backlists, or kind of like reading one book by an author, but it's like their debut like author, and then there's nothing else for me to read to really cement my opinion on them, if that makes sense. But some authors I have started that I have really enjoyed is Lauren Roberts. She's the writer of Powerless. As you guys can tell, I've talked about those books a lot of times already in this. And like I said, I'm very excited to see how it's gonna change now that she has like an editing team behind her, and she's not just like an 18-year-old self-publishing by herself. Which, no shade at all, because obviously she did fabulous with it, and look at where she is now. But now that she has an actual team behind her as well, I'm really excited to see what happens. It's like some authors whose series I've started this year I've really enjoyed can be in this too. So maybe that's Jessa Hastings and Kristen Becca Ritchie. This is the Addicted series, and what I think about this series is it a literary masterpiece? No. But it's fun, and you're gonna have fun along the way, and that's why I enjoy it. And then Magnolia Parks, already said, I think just more so like her character writing and how much she's able to make you feel for characters that I really enjoy about her. I have books that made me cry, and the one I actually own, I don't know where it is. This happens a lot with my bookshelves. I don't know where things are, because I just finished it the other day, but The Burning God. I finally read this, and the ending had me ugly crying. It was not okay. And I think I avoided the book for so long because I think I knew how it had to end. Like, reading it, you know what has to happen, and I was just avoiding it. I was like, it's not gonna happen, and then it did. It was gut-wrenching, and I still haven't recovered. I don't want to talk about it yet because it's pretty fresh still. Also, as I already mentioned before, Just the Summer by Abby Jimenez did make me bawl like a baby. It was like healing and therapeutic in a way, and it was what I needed at the time. I don't really know what to do for a book that made me happy, to be honest, because I feel like I've really read many two like happy books this year, but one that did make me smile a lot and make me happy was Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Anything this woman writes, I will read, and like I said, the second book to the series is coming out on my birthday. And I'm excited. It's gonna be like a bright orange color too. I think it's gonna go really well with this. The next question was hard for me because this will be the most beautiful book I've bought or received this year. And if you guys know me, I am not a special edition girly, because I know myself well enough to know that if I start diving into that, I will never stop and I will go broke from buying special editions of books. So books so far I have said I will buy special editions of if really pretty ones come out that I'm obsessed with is Throne of Glass and The Hunger Games. There was like that hardcover set of the Hunger Games books that came out in the UK that were stunning, but I haven't gotten them yet, but I think I will go ahead and get those eventually to annotate them for my like nice copies of the Hunger Games. But what I did do this year is when I was in Europe, I did buy some like UK European covers of books I really wanted. And so the ones I think were the most stunning were The Divine Rivals, duology. I don't like people on covers. I love these. And the US covers, I just don't think they're as nice. And also, why are they taking 5 million years to come out paperback? They're only in hardcover. Divine Rivals, I swear, just came out in paperback like 2-3 months ago. here in Canada, and this one obviously is like nowhere in sight. So I wanted them paperbacks, I wanted to have them on my shelves, so I got these, and they are stunning. Books I want to read for the rest of the year is kind of a loaded one. I would love to finish off the Shadowhunters universe with Cassandra Clare's whole world she's created. I have 4 books left in series to read. I'm not sure if I'm reading the standalones yet. I think I should, but I haven't really decided as of yet. I also really want to read Throne of Glass. I keep saying that and I keep putting it off because I'm scared to reread it, but I need to do it this year, so that's like high up on the list. And then lastly is actually Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, because I started reading that middle of April, right as my slump was starting, and I actually was really enjoying it, but I was just so anti picking up a book at that point that I think I made it to chapter 9 and then just stopped. And I was really enjoying it when I was reading it, so I'd love to give that one a second chance. Biggest disappointment this year is In 5 Years. And honestly, I didn't really know what to choose for this one because I don't feel like any book I've really gone into with super duper high hopes and been tremendously let down by. But this book has been on my cart for so long, and I was like so like not wanting to read it and like kept like avoiding it like the plague. But then I finally did read it and I gave it like a 2-star, and I think a 2-star is generous. I was not a fan of this main character and what she did and what the whole point of this book was. I liked the story about friendship, but then I also didn't, because I'm like, you did what you did, so I don't really think you're a good friend. For me, it was just tropes I really did not enjoy, and then she tried like making it make sense at the end or rationalizing what the main character did, and it still didn't matter to me. I still despised it. So this book was just like a hard no for me. Lastly, series I want to finish this year is also a very loaded question because I have like a huge series list. But ones I really want to get to, obviously like I just said, is the Shadowhunters universe. I want to finish that. The Addicted series, I'm now starting book 6, I believe, so I'm like halfway through. I want to finish Magnolia Parks. I have 3 more books left to read, and then she does have there's no more Magnolia Parks books coming out, but there's 2 more Daisy Hates books apparently. And she doesn't have a release date for the next one yet, but I'm hoping it's for the end of the year. The Alex Stern duet, which is Hellbent. I found to pick that up, just do it. And lastly, the Atlas 6 trilogy, because I read the first 2 books and I want to read the 3rd one, but once again, it's out in hardback, and so I'm just waiting for my Libby loan to come in. Alright friends, without further ado, that is kind of like my little overview of how my year of reading is going so far. Like I said, I've read 87 books. I'm having a great time with ones I'm reading. I think the only book I've rated 2 stars for this entire year was In 5 Years, and every book I've read was 3 stars or above. So I've had a really good reading year so far. I feel like there's so much to look forward to towards the end of the year as well, so I'm so excited. But also, if you guys like this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. I'm also on TikTok at Angel's Book Corner, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.